y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925, but we are still married to the games. Episode 343. We are pretty sure.
Yeah.
And the reason we say we're pretty sure is because we're three-legged. We're a three-legged table.
Oh, man. Again.
What the heck? We're a three-legged table once again, even though they do say that the triangle is the strongest shape found in nature.
That's true.
So let's go with we're a triangle with the strength of a triangle.
Yes.
That sounds good, right?
I like it.
Right.
It's your boy Gabe Patillo without Tim Router, with Chris McCracken, with Ed Placencia, and we're married to the games about this thing. So thank you guys so much for being here. It is still dad joke April or April Fools here on Married to the Games. And so Edward,
yeah,
why don't you tell us how your week was? But first, you got any jokes for us?
Well, it's weird because I'm not a dad.
Yeah,
so
that's
to
right.
tell these dad jokes, I guess I'm a faux pas.
That's right. That's right. That's true.
And you know, speaking of, we weren't speaking of it. You know, this morning, I realized before we recorded, we were speaking of it.
Yes. Okay.
It makes no, speaking of phones, which we were, but
yeah, that's right.
This morning, Siri said, "Don't call me Shirley." And I guess it's because I left it in airplane mode.
I don't get that one.
It's an old line from
from the movie Airplane.
From the movie Airplane.
Oh gosh.
Shirley, you're kidding me. Don't call me Shirley.
Oh, that's a deep cut there.
That's a very deep cut.
Okay.
Also, I invented a new word today.
Really?
What's that?
Yeah. Plagiarism. This week,
Jeez.
Let that hang and linger.
I like
for a
that
little
one.
bit.
I like that was the delivery was perfect.
This week, Sarah was out of town. She left. She left Thursday. She and her friend Candace went to Boston, and they were there for the weekend. And Sarah taught a class, and they got to see some friends and what have you. And so she was away, and I was home on my own with the pup and the cat.
Yeah.
And it was nice. We had a kind of a nice, not a surprise for me, but a surprise for everyone else in that Patrick Novosel, Hollywood Bones.
I did not see this coming.
Said, "Hey, my family goes camping a few times a year. I'm not a big fan of camping. I should come up there sometime." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "How's April 5th?" And I said, "Awesome. Come on up." And that joker drove from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Did he?
3 hours up here to Auburn, Indiana. He got up like 11 a.m. on Friday morning, left around 6 that evening just to play some games.
You know what's funny is I saw something on Twitter that I didn't investigate. And I thought you guys said y'all were together, and I was like, no, that can't be right.
Oh, it was.
That's amazing.
It was so much fun. So Patrick came over and we played Overcooked all day, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a really nice hang. It was really good to see him again and just hang out and just blow everyone's minds when we revealed this big, you know, it was funny. The night before we were playing Overwatch together with the gang, and he was like, "I got to get to bed. I got to drive early. I have to drive, you know, a few hours tomorrow." And everyone's like, "Oh man!" And I'm just, "Oh man, where are you going?" You just got a road trip, and
you guys were playing it up for the camera,
playing it up for the camera. And what was really funny is that we didn't even discuss that we were going to do that. We just kind of naturally, and it was really cool. I had never gotten that far in Overcooked, and Patrick and I flew through that game. And what was really funny is that most of the time we didn't say a word to each other. We just kind of like clicked.
It wasn't like, I got the onions. Okay, I got the onions.
Yeah. Exactly. We were just
I have
doing
idle
our
hands. I
thing.
have idle hands.
Exactly.
That's what I say. And spin around.
We were in the zone. So that was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. Saturday, I think it was, the days. If Sarah's not here, the days just run together.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I think I hopped into Overwatch. Our friend Frankie that we play Overwatch with, and he's been listening to the podcast. We started playing Overwatch. I don't know what time it was. All I know is that the sun was still out and it was very bright outside.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know what, 2 a.m. we stopped.
Oh, shoot.
So it was a day full of Overwatch and just a really nice weekend. I got into the Division 2, got into level 30, which I guess means that you can go into the dark zone or whatever it's called.
Yes, the dark zone.
Oh, wow. You have to be at level 30 to go into the dark zone?
Highway to the dark zone.
Man, I love the commitment in that.
I was going there regardless of if y'all kept talking or not. Let's go all the way there, baby.
I don't know if you have to be level 30 to get there, but I think that's maybe the recommended level, or I just took my time getting there.
Yes.
So for some reason,
And how was it?
I didn't go in. I finished the main storyline. No, that's like putting me on a boat and we're all going to scuba dive, and they're like, "Yeah, there are some sharks down there, but they'll be fine."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No,
I'm not going in.
I'm good in the boat."
Oh
But,
my gosh.
I finished the main storyline, so there was part of me that was like, I kind of want. There was this thing about I love playing it with friends. But also the part of me that likes single player games, I kind of wanted to finish the single player portion of it just kind of on my own, see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And I finished it. And so now I'm like, I feel like I don't really need to play by myself anymore.
Oh, okay.
If someone's not on that I know, I'm like, nah, I don't really want to play the Division.
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm not done with it. I'm just done with the single player portion of it.
And what did you think of all that?
I mean, I had fun. It was a good time. I mean, everyone knows the story isn't why people go there. It's for the gameplay, and I had fun with it. I was able to do it. I was able to do it by myself, which kind of surprised me.
Yep.
But they've leveled it nicely enough that you can do it by yourself. And if I'm this is stealing a line from Lem's streams, but if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Monday, I was getting ready to stream, and it was just kind of one of those moments of, like when you've got cable and you've got all those channels and you still can't find anything to watch. And I was like, man, nothing is jumping out at me to play. I don't really want to play anything in particular.
Yeah.
And was kind of floating around the PlayStation store, and I found Angry Birds VR.
I saw that you were playing that.
Yes.
Because you're a weirdo.
And I had a lot of fun up until the last portion of it when I was struggling. But it was really cool. It's Sarah, I was telling her about it, and she was immediately disappointed because you're not actually one of the birds flying through the air.
Oh, you can't do that view?
I know, right? It is kind of cool that what's different about it from the mobile game is that you can take different, on each level, you can have 2 to 4 different vantage points. You can move around and hit the structure from different places. That was kind of cool. But yeah, it looks, it's VR. It looks great. It's a lot of fun. I was trying to get 3 stars on all of them, and there was one level I couldn't get 3 stars on, and I was getting frustrated.
Yep.
But all in all, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So
did you play the entire thing on stream, and that was it, or was it longer to where you shut down the stream and continued playing?
No, yeah, I did the entire thing on the stream, and there was that little pang in my heart that, man, there's the one level I only have 2 stars on.
Yes,
but I just had to admit that I'm not going to get 2 stars on that one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really, really cool, and it's one of those games that you could it's a great game to introduce someone to VR.
Really?
Because you're the one looking around, you're not going to get motion sick.
Okay.
And everyone knows Angry Birds. And so, yeah, I think it'd be a great I had fun with it, but I think it'd be a great game also for a newbie to VR as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then today was kind of the same thing. I was like, I want to play a game. I don't really know what I want to play. I've got the new the updated Borderlands, but my brother-in-law Nathan and I have played that so many times. I was like,
right.
I'm kind of sick of it.
You're like, I did this 8 times already.
Exactly. Yeah. And so again, scrolling through the PlayStation Store, and I found this game, and I was like, I've never heard of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And this game looks like it would be amazing because it looks horrible. And it's a live action. You're trying to solve a crime, and it's all live action. There are no graphics to it.
Really?
And you're a detective trying to figure out who killed this person, and you're talking to different people. It's called The Shape-Shifting Detective.
Oh, Lord.
The acting is horrible. The writing is horrible. The editing and transitions are horrible. And it was just as fun and exciting as I hoped it would be.
Really?
We had so much fun. It's like Mystery Science Theater. It's so bad that it's hilarious.
So does this mean we need to be doing a game? Because it doesn't matter?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on board. I'm
Oh
so
my
on
gosh.
board.
Yeah.
It was so horrible. It was so much fun.
The shape-shifting detective, right?
The shape-shifting detective.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can't remember now. I should look it up.
It was right next to that horse riding game.
But what's really fun is the fact that it was super, super cheap, and it came in a bundle with another game that looks equally horrible, possibly by the same creators.
Oh my gosh.
And it's got a really long, horrible, forgetful name. I don't know. It's maybe like The Bitter Detective Who Solves Super Crimes or something like that.
You have to say Tyler Perry Presents.
I know, right? I think you play a psychiatrist. I don't remember, but I can't wait to play it.
Is that tomorrow's game?
That's tomorrow's game.
Staring at someone's feet for an hour and a half.
You know what's funny? Did you look in the stream?
No.
Because when you're like, someone will say something, and then while you're trying to think of your next question to ask, it's kind of like Telltale. They kind of cut to a shot of them stroking their chin or looking in the air, or it's a close-up of their feet.
No way.
Yes.
What? I totally called it.
Why a close-up of their feet?
I don't know, because I'm
a video game developer, baby. You didn't know that?
But someone in the chat actually said, I'll be right back. I have an extra $5. I'm going to go make a game better than this one.
Jeez.
It was just so much fun. People doing English accents that definitely aren't English. It's so enjoyable. Oh,
that's perfect.
There's part of me that got mad because I'm like, I know actual out of work actors that are much better than this.
But they might not price themselves that low.
Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they looked at the script and thought, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But
that's when they should have called us. I can do an English accent that ends up sounding Mexican and Chinese at some point.
Or just like yourself.
Or me.
Not an accent at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to I got something off from the Queen.
But man, it was so much fun, and I can't wait to jump into it tomorrow.
That's
the
awesome.
Next game. But I will definitely keep you posted. It was a good week.
There you go.
Nice.
Chris McCracken.
Yes.
We do these dad jokes for you, sir.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that I kick myself for last year when we did dad jokes is that we didn't have you tell any. We just had you listen to us telling them. And we got to enjoy your laughter.
Yes.
So this week and next week, and I don't know how many more weeks we're in April.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm so glad we get to hear something from you. So I want you to tell us how your week was, but first, give us some dad jokes.
Okay, let's see here. I had it pulled up and then I lost it.
Oh.
You're
not as good as Ed as
all
this.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the setup for a joke.
So
yeah, me too.
Yeah. I was trying to work it in, but it didn't work out that way. So why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself?
Because it was too tired.
Too tired. Oh, nice. You got it. Okay.
I love
now,
figuring
let's
them
see if
out.
you get this one. What do you call cheese that isn't yours?
Ooh, I know this one.
Yep.
Nacho cheese. Okay, here's the best one. Ready?
Oh shoot.
What do you call
delivery?
What do you call a man with a rubber toe?
Roberto?
Oh, good one, Ed.
Yes!
No, that's funny because when we were little, I had a cousin named Roberto, and my little brother couldn't say his name right, and he thought we were saying rubber toes.
Oh, that is so. Oh,
that's
y'all are
funny.
3 for 3. I am impressed.
Thank you.
I am impressed.
I don't know if you know this about me, but back when they I don't know if they still do it. Is it Laffy Taffies that they put jokes inside of?
Mm-hmm.
So I forget which candy it
that
was.
makes sense. It feels like that would be the case.
I know, right? So whatever candy it was, I used to print these terrible little jokes / riddle things in them. Me and my friends used to get those candies, not even eat them, but just do the jokes and see if we could figure out the punchlines.
Oh, nice.
So I love figuring out the punchlines. Yes.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on the week front, things at work are still just flowing and going. There's nothing really of news to report there. We've got a few projects that are coming up, I think early or mid to next month, which actually the timing works out well for that because Stacy's going to be going out of town starting next month. I don't know exactly which week, but she's going to go for, I think, a 2-week trip.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll kind of coincide with that, which is bad for the dog because that means more time where nobody's here at the house because I usually have to go in early and come in.
We
a little
didn't
bit
ask
later.
about Batman, by the way.
Oh yeah, what's the status on Batman? Is he a permanent placentia or what's the deal?
We assume he is. We haven't heard from the owner. So
Batman Placencia, get a tag made.
Yeah, I asked Sarah, I was like, let's go ahead and ask them, like, which of its shots, if any, it's already had. So when we go into the vet, we can say, hey, he's this far along or whatever.
That's right.
But she was like, oh, yeah, we got to do that. So,
and that'd be a good question to ask to gauge if he's yours. We haven't got him shots yet.
Exactly.
Then you'd be like, oh, yet, that's still your dog? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, click.
Now, if they come back and be like, oh, we're not doing that, be like, okay, cool. It's ours now.
Yeah.
We'll just take care of it.
Right.
Over this past weekend, Saturday was rainy. I originally was supposed to have a side gig photo shoot that day, but because it was rainy, we went ahead and postponed it to this coming weekend. So instead, what I did is another photo gig that I have is a bunch of product photography that I'm doing for this company.
Nice.
And so I just spent a big chunk of the day just shooting all of those. I had shot already some samples and sent them to them for approval to make sure that the direction and everything was what they were looking for. I got word back that it was all good to go. So I went ahead and shot everything. So this week I've been working on doing all of the knocking out of the backgrounds and stripping it out to where it's just the product and basically presenting it the way that they're asking for and then sending it back to them. So that's going to take me the rest of the evening. Like I think there was 3 of them in particular last night that they needed rushed. It's actually more because each product I'm doing all 4 sides of it. So it's actually a little bit more depending on which product I'm doing. But it took me all night just to get those 3 to them really fast.
Gotcha.
And when I say all night, I just mean like from when I got home after dinner and walked the dog and all that stuff. So I got started probably about 7:30 and I went all the way to about 10:30 and
we don't think you're slow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I'm no Photoshop
you have to
master,
prove it to us,
but
buddy. You have to prove it to us.
I'm no Photoshop master. That's the honest truth. But I can hold my own. I can do a thing or two. You know what's up.
You better than me, that's for sure.
And then on Sunday, I had another photo shoot. So I've been really lucky right now that I've been getting a lot of side gig photo work, which is something that I haven't had for a good long while. So it's been picking back up, and that's kind of nice. Plus, the one that we're doing the product shots for, I'm hoping that's going to lead to a little bit more of a consistency kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good luck if that ends up happening. The other thing that I've been doing is something that Gabe's never done. I've been rewatching the Marvel movies.
Oh, nice.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding.
And I haven't really been watching all of them like intently because a bunch of them I'll have it playing like in a window up as I've been doing the photo editing and stuff like that. A handful of them I have been rewatched like all the way through. Like I watched the original Avengers, and I'm not planning to watch every single one because I don't own every one, and There's only so many that I have access to, either through like Netflix or one of the others. The one that I am thinking about renting, just because I never saw it, but it's because I just never really had interest, but I'm just kind of like, well, I never saw it, maybe I should, is Thor: The Dark World or whatever. I never saw that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel like a ton of people are like, oh, that's such a good Thor. The one that they all say is really good is Ragnarok, and I own that one, and I've rewatched that one.
That one is good.
So that one's good. But I kind of want to see it just before this last movie of the phase 1 or whatever is here, just so I can be like, okay, I saw all 22 at some point in the their opening out and everything. But I'm having a lot of fun with that. I'm getting more excited for Avengers Endgame probably than I should. I feel like every single day I'm just more excited for it. I mean, it's kind of similar to how I was getting hyped whenever The Force Awakens was on its like coming.
Oh, right.
Because it's a little bit different, obviously, because in that situation, it was the first new Star Wars movie in forever, whereas it's not like we've had a big drought of Marvel movies.
Right.
We've had a bunch of them, but they've just been leading up to this so well, and Infinity War was so good that I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, to have a bookend on the whole phase 1, I'm just super looking forward to it, and I hope it lives up to everything that I want it to be. I got no problems with it being 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Me either.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with that.
I have to take a nap.
If it was like Avengers 1, I'd be like, we'll see if this pans out first, but they've already gone down that road and it's panned out. So I'm all excited for that. On the gaming front, because of all the photo stuff and then the editing sessions that I've had, I really haven't played a ton. I mean, it's just been the typical stuff with, I did jump into a little bit more Division 2. I still really want to spend more time in that. I'm kind of like Ed in that I really only want to play it with people. I don't even the story stuff. I'm just, whatever. I only want to play it really if I'm playing with people. So if I jump on and I see somebody's playing the Division, usually when I notice it, it's Ed, and I just bombard his play session and jump on in there. So I need to kind of at some point I need to go like in our little Discord or somewhere online and just do a call out and be like, hey, who wants to play Division 2 or something, and kind of get that ball rolling a little bit more. Jumped into a little bit more Overwatch. Looking forward to the new event that's going to be coming. I think they're having one coming out this month. And so I'll be looking forward to that, and then a little bit of Apex here and there, but that's been pretty much it because I've been sticking to trying to knock out all this photo stuff and get it all squared away. So
nice.
Can't complain at all.
There you go.
I like that.
Yep.
Me too.
Mr. Gabe?
Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of getting ramped up and getting hyped for movies, and you talked about Star Wars. Do you guys actually know how Darth Vader likes his toast?
No.
On the dark side.
Should have seen that one coming.
You should have. What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a unicycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle?
I don't know.
Attire.
I love that Chris has his video on.
I know. This is so great. This happened the last time Tim wasn't here, is that we did video while we did the show.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. But seriously, I saw a magician walk down the street, and then poof, he turned into a grocery store.
What?
Thanks.
I thought that went over like 3 I said it back in my head 3 times. Like, wait, what?
Oh gosh. All right. I'm glad you got the turn into a grocery store joke.
That was a good one. That was good. And what's my favorite part is it doesn't translate to the podcast, but we're watching on video and Gabe delivers the punchline and then just freezes and stares.
It's my favorite part of dad jokes is the stare at the end of it.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite part. One of my buddies, I told him one, we weren't even joking around, but so this is a little sad. So just go with me. The accountant at Toby's like management company, she had heart problems and had to have heart surgery. And it was really sad. It was really sudden. It was really scary. she's doing fine now, which thank God, we're so grateful that she's healthy. She's back home. She's doing well. She's been recovering. This happened a couple weeks ago. And she was supposed to come out on the road because the whole management team came to New York. And so I was talking to one of the guys, and I said, "Oh man, it sucks that Barb had to bypass this trip."
Oh, jeez.
And I just stared at him because he was turned around. And when he turned around, I was just still staring at him. And he lost it. He thought that was the funniest thing. That's my funniest. That's what I think is amazing about dad jokes, is the stare afterwards. Oh shoot. We are done with tour.
Yeah,
and so,
all right, there you go.
Yeah, we finished strong in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Don't look it up. It's there.
It's there.
It's a city in Arkansas. And so that was good. You know, ends of tours are always bittersweet because you're obviously very happy to be going home, but you're very sad because, you know, these are people that you've been doing life with a lot, you know, almost every day for the last 3 to 4 months. And so, you know, you're going to see each other again and stuff like that, but still that camaraderie and that closeness is hard to let go of. And they really do, you know, everybody becomes family. Because, I mean, you have to remember, for those that don't do any kind of job like this, I know my job is weird, but just imagine that from the morning till you go to bed, it's the same people every day. This is not like the same people at your job and then you go home to your husbands and wives. This is you wake up in the morning to these people and you go to bed from these people. And so when the tour is over, it's this weird thing of like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I won't see you tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing. It's kind of like, the best thing I can this might sound weird too, but like when you're buying a house, and this is for me, I like being very personable with people. I like talking to them, not just on a business level, even if we just have a business relationship. When I'm doing a voiceover and they are live directing me, I always like ask them a random question about themselves in the middle of it, just to like break it up a little bit and like try to get some laughs going. And so the best thing I can compare it to is like, you know, when you're buying a house and the relationship you have with your realtor, even if you don't really know them, it's almost towards the end, it turns into like almost an everyday conversation that you're having with them. Here they are providing a service that's helping you make one of the bigger purchases you'll ever make in your life. It's a big deal, especially if it's family and stuff like that. And they're like, you know, and they're giving you their opinion. You got your opinion flying around. You're working together to try to accomplish this goal. You accomplish the goal. You go to the bank, you sign the papers, and maybe you never see them again. After talking to them almost every day for like 3 to 6 months. Yeah. And so that's the closest thing I can akin it to. Every time I've bought a house has been with a different realtor. And so it's always been weird at the end when you're like, okay, well, yeah, see ya. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll never see you again.
Enjoy that commission.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have fun on that boat. I'm just kidding. My commissions aren't that big. So yeah, finished the tour. Tonight, one of the reasons I was running a little late, not that you guys knew that, but I had a bachelor party to go to, and I was at a place called Ocean Way Studios here in Nashville. Really cool studio. And what I forgot about that place, because I haven't been there in years, is I walked in and downstairs it was like Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty this, that, and the other. And I was like, holy crap, I forgot that they did all the music for Call of Duty here in Nashville. And those things have gotten brought. Also, and so I'm talking to one of the guys, and there was no segue into it. We were talking about something completely different. And I was like, hey, so that video game stuff downstairs, you guys did all the music for that? He was like, yeah. He goes, we also did the music for a company. I don't remember. It starts with an A. It starts with an I think. They just did like a Spider-Man game or something. And I was like, they're Insomniac. Yeah. Wow. I was like, they were here. They did the music here. And he was like, yeah. And he goes, they also did, which I think I can say now. And even if I can't, hopefully I won't get in trouble. Nobody told me not to say anything. But he was like, yeah. And we just did the Star Wars game down there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, shoot. I was like, oh, yeah. And so, I mean, EA has announced that there's a Star Wars game. So it's not like I'm spoiling anything, right?
Nope. Let me just remove that story.
No, keep the story.
Yeah. Keep the story because I don't know anything about
I don't know anything past that. Is that they
There's not
did,
much to know.
is that they did the music here in Nashville, and so
That's cool.
I'm probably gonna be pulling some strings here coming up and just being like, because we have a couple connections there, and being like, next time a game comes in, can your boy just come sit in the room and see what's going on? And he said kind of the fun thing about it is because everything's so hush hush, they don't know what game it is until after the fact. Like the guys that just work in the studio, they don't get to know.
When you say they don't know what game it is, and maybe you don't know the specific answer to this, but do you mean like they literally don't know anything, or they just don't know the name of it?
They know it's a game.
Yeah.
But they're
like, I don't know what game this is, but this song is called The Death of Han Solo.
Okay, I guess
And this guy just works there. He's not working in the studio. He just like kind of went in and out. Like, he wasn't doing the session or anything. And so before 2 days ago, I'd imagine he knew that it was a Star Wars game. So they would have found out after the fact, but I wouldn't have known 2 or 3 days ago there was a Star Wars game coming out.
I thought you meant like they're in there recording some music and he's like, something kind of mellow and then it gets a bit sad and then actiony. Like, just do a thing. It's like, do they really know what it is?
No, those guys, the people in the room probably know.
I gotcha. Okay,
even though the players might not know, they might just be getting sheets of music. And
they just get their music and like, this is what you're going to play. I gotcha.
This guy just works at the studio. But not, they're going to bring in their own guys. It's not like they're like, hey, guy at the front desk, can you come push these buttons real quick on this new Halo game? Don't tell anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of cool just to remember that music is coming here to Nashville for video games and that it's, just downtown. So
that's pretty cool because, you hear in Nashville and you think country, and that's cool that it's not country music city. It's music city.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I remember right, the what was the super massive game? It was like a haunted game. It was for PlayStation. Until Dawn. They did their music at some place in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
I watched
awesome.
some like mini doc or something like that on that, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're recording our here at blah 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 in Nashville." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was probably Ocean Way. That's where
It might have been. I can't
a lot
remember
of
the
them
name.
have come through. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah. Anyway, so that was really cool. Gosh, I had something else to tell you guys, but I can't remember what it was. But besides that, man, Remy's still here. We
Nice.
we bought because it was on sale over the weekend. I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 was on sale for $40.
Oh, sweet.
And so I bought Kingdom Hearts for the kids. They're actually really enjoying it. It was a little touch and go at first because Remy was like, now can I play it? Now can I play it? And Mara was like, can I have a turn? But then like after they saw like how many buttons you have to press at once, they're like, oh, okay, daddy's got it. And so, but they've been really, they've really actually enjoyed watching it. And they're like, can we, like this morning, Remy came in the room like, can we play the Mickey game? Can we play the Mickey game? And Mickey shows up pretty early in the game. So it was kind of nice that he was calling it the Mickey game before Mickey even showed up. And then today when we played it this morning, Mickey showed up. And so he's like, Mickey!
Is Mickey like on the cover or something? Like, why was he calling it that?
Yeah. Mickey's on the cover.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you pretty far into it or
No,
a few hours?
No. Probably like, maybe like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something like that.
So have you gotten like a special power? Like a special, like, here's my super move for this fight.
Yes. Well, they have a bunch of those. And so one of them's like the teacups from Disney World.
I love that they incorporated rides as I thought I saw that. I thought that was so cool.
Yes. Yeah. And Amara loved that. She was like, the teacups, I rode those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they have like a pirate ship that kind of, that swings. Yep. And she was, I don't know, but she was like, that's the Jake and the Neverland Pirates pirate ship, which I don't think it is, but I was like, oh, cool. And so, and then they have like the train that you ride around Disney World that you can shoot from. And so again, I'm only an hour and a half in and they have a lot of those things really early. So I don't know if they're not pacing themselves well or if there's going to be a million of those, throughout the game. So
that's cool. Yeah. The first time I saw that, I thought that was a really clever way to tie that in.
Yes. And they had the, what looks like you're sitting in the Toy Story ride, like the one that you shoot the balls from. And so you sit down and two characters sit behind you. So it's laid out a little different, but that's what she she was like, "Oh, it's like the Toy Story ride." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "This is gonna be perfect." So
Yes. That's awesome.
Are you going to play the whole thing with the kids, like in front of them, or will you play any of it off on your own?
That's a great question.
Like, are you wanting to, after we finish recording, are you wanting to go in and keep playing?
Not really.
Really?
I mean, like, it's not at me like that because you got to remember, like, you guys have never played a Kingdom Hearts, right?
I played the last one for a good amount.
Like number 2?
2.3 HD remix, the prologue.
The one with Hercules.
I think he's in both, but I think he's in 1 and 2. And he's in this third one. But like the story, you know, especially like coming into 3, it seems like they expect you to have known what happened. And so it's not spoon-fed at all at the beginning. It's like, oh no, where's such and such a name, like that I've never heard of. And they're like, oh, she probably got lost here with such and such the last time we were here. And I was like, who's that? And he's like, oh, this is the same beach me and Sora were the first time we blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And so I think half of my not wanting to rush back and play it is that I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm just playing it for my children's enjoyment. So I think that's why I'll only play it with them. Unless something gets just like long and daunting, you know, I might rush through that. But like Amara's really interested to see, you start out in Olympus and she's really interested to see like what world we go to next. Like, you know, 'cause she's, you know, looking forward to hitting up Frozen and Toy Story and stuff like that. And I have no idea where we're going next, but we just finished Olympus. So we shall see. But man, oh man, is there a lot of talking in that game. Gracious.
Well, yeah, man.
I'm like,
they got a story to tell.
Yeah, I'm like, don't bore us, get to the chorus. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a lot of like, it feels like the game intros like 9 times. It's like, oh, I want to see the funny sun. I want to hear the sound. And I want to see the funny sound. The sun in the sky. And you're like, okay. And then it goes, Kingdom Hearts 3. In the stars in the sky, and our love will be true. You're like, gosh, these words are awful. And then it'll be like, Kingdom Hearts 3. Press start. And you're like, press start? What have I been doing this whole time? And so you're like, start.
It's been loading. It's been loading. Mickey's
New
assets,
game,
man.
Easy. You know, normal. Warrior. Exactly. And we go into the darkness. Yeah. And the love and our love in the sky. And you're like, oh shoot. Amara even, and then it goes Kingdom Hearts 3. And Amara goes, it says Kingdom Hearts 3 a lot. And I was like, thank you. From the mouth of babes. Y'all don't feel this? It's like, have you ever watched like a poorly edited like student film or something like that where you're like, y'all don't feel that this is long here? Like when you watch The Office I feel like is perfect on feeling the beats out for how long a stare should happen after somebody says a line.
Right.
Any longer, even 3 seconds longer, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
This thing, it's like they have no concept of what feels long at the beginning of this game.
Right.
Seven in the sky.
I know what game I'm playing. You don't have to remind me.
Yeah, seriously. Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes.
When you go to save, would you like to save your progress in Kingdom Hearts 3?
That's totally what it feels like.
You have chosen to quit Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so that's been a struggle.
Oh.
But
That's too bad.
We got past that part. It's just a lot of talking. And so like the story they're laying out, you're like, oh man. And like, you know, but at least it's good voice acting for the Disney characters.
Right.
Everybody else to me sounds like hot garbage. If I was going to be completely honest.
Like all of the Final Fantasy-ish people?
I haven't gotten to any of them yet. But like,
I thought
how-
the main dude was a Final Fantasy guy.
no, Sora was made just for this
Kingdom
game.
Hearts?
I think. I don't think he's from anything else.
Okay.
But like hearing Haley and the whoever's doing, I don't know. The Disney characters sound great. I think it's just the pacing that's tough. But we gonna stick through.
There you
we
go.
gonna keep on going. Keep on keeping on. That's what we do. Unless
Right.
it gets real bad, I'll just be glad that I got it for $20 off.
There you go. Exactly.
Whew. All right. Oh, one other thing.
Yes.
Have you guys noticed? So, I tell you that I can just
You
keep
got
it
a
on.
haircut.
No. So I told you guys that I just leave ESPN on in the house, especially when we don't want kids shows in the background. That's the almost the only time we have regular television on.
Right.
Everything else is like Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, and all that stuff. Have you guys seen the new Apex commercial?
No.
They use "I'm a Living Legend" from Beat Saber as the song for Apex Legends.
Oh, I heard that. That's I did see that. Someone mentioned that online.
I said it on our Hangout chat.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, it's like, bow, bow, go. I'm a living legend. I was like, oh, it's
That's
2 games
hilarious.
in 1.
That's awesome.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, real ones know.
Yeah.
Real
Speaking
ones
of,
know.
man, I need to buy those other songs on Beat Saber. I've
not
not had
bad.
any time for VR in a while.
Me either. I bought them. I haven't even played any of the new ones yet.
I set up all my light stuff in the living room behind where the couch is, but I had to move it in a little bit. And I want to leave it set. The lights for the product photography stuff that I've been doing, I had set up my lighting gear.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, okay, I just want to leave it there so that if they tell me I need to reshoot something or they want something done differently, so I'm leaving the setup there. But that means there's not enough room to pull out VR because you got to be so far back. So I'm like, man, it's just, I feel horrible because I was one of the ones that's like, man, minute those songs come out, day one I'm buying. It's like, I don't really want to buy so I can actually play them.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, holy crap. Oh, by the way, the whole reason Router's not here is because him and his wife are going to Mexico.
That's right.
Like he mentioned last week. And they're leaving. Well, they were leaving at like the butt crack of dawn tomorrow, Wednesday morning. And so we had worked it out to where Tuesday night we do the show, which is when we're recording this. And then he texted us tonight and was like, guys, we're in the weeds. And we were like, what? And he was like, man, we're trying to, do all this stuff.
Why
and
are
he's
you
like,
doing lawn work now?
running around. Yeah. And then he was like, I'm speeding around. And then he got pulled over by the cops. And so he got a ticket for speeding. He has the dogs in the car. Oh, man. So anyway, he's packing and getting ready for their amazing trip. So Router, sorry you're not here, buddy, but it's for a good reason at least.
Yes. Exactly.
But you are at home and Ed was on a ship. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I mean, you could have at least let a month go by before you don't step up to the plate.
I know. I have to get all my crap talk out now because I'm gonna be on a boat in a couple weeks and I might not make it. So I gotta give him a hard time while I can before he's like, oh, what happened? You on a boat? Ed was on a boat.
Right. Sorry, you guys, I couldn't make it. I was at home with great internet.
I was
That's
busy getting them
hilarious.
tickets because that's more fun.
Exactly.
Sorry, I couldn't make it. My daughter and the dogs were dropped off at someone else's house, and there's nothing here that would stop me from being able to make it.
Well, then I'll ask you this, Ed. Ed,
Yeah.
you got it?
You know I do.
Well, let's do it.
Alrighty. Looking at new releases for the week. Hearthstone, Rise of Shadows.
Man, I
Available
missed
on
that game.
PC, iOS, and Android. Are you
I
guys
miss
getting
it
that?
too.
No.
No?
No,
I haven't
no.
played Hearthstone in forever. I can't bring myself to delete it off of my phone or my iPad or my computer, but I've not played it in who knows how long.
I do not have those same problems. I've deleted it off everything. However,
oh, geez, really?
well, yeah, but still, I still do miss it. You know what? Sometimes I forget why I love games. Like Candy Crush. Remember when me and you reinstalled Candy Crush for like a month?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was like, why? Let me just reinstall it. And then you play and you're like, holy crap. Yeah, this is a good game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's the same way. That's the same way it was with Hearthstone before, because I played the mess out of it. Then I stopped for a couple months, and then I was like, I'm just gonna pick this back up. And one day I was in a waiting room, like getting the oil changed or something. And I picked it up and I started playing, and I just got sucked right back into it.
Yeah,
you can say you were getting your colon cleansed. There's a safe space.
No, I was not getting I'm not quite that old yet.
It's just a cleansing.
I mean, whatever.
I love getting this age though, because I do have some friends that's like, you've never gone to get your colon cleansed? I'm like, no, I have not. Go ahead, Ed.
Also available.
Night show.
In the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me category, dangerous driving is available.
Oh, you're not going to do it?
PS4, Xbox One,
shot,
PC, I am not giving it a shot.
Come on.
No.
Come on, Ed.
No.
It's the same people that did Burnout.
I know. And the same people that did Dangerous Golf.
It is?
Yeah.
And then they were the ones that did that
parking garage crash game?
The ones that did the crash ones. And ever since Burnout, they haven't done anything that's lived up to Burnout.
Yeah, doggone it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind them fooling you twice. I'm not going to get it either, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it on the YouTube channel.
Wouldn't mind seeing another angry video on the YouTube channel.
There was some parts I rewound a couple times. Like, this joke is really disappointed. He's like, I know we're not still in this garage.
Man, that was a sad day.
Yeah, that's it.
Hearing Ed like, this tutorial is taking a long time in this garage. I can't wait till we go outside. Maybe that's the next level. Always looking at the bright side.
And then what's really sad is the next game they put out, it was outside and it was still bad.
Doggone it.
Yeah. Coming out April 11th on the PS4, Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. Also on April 11th for the Switch, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
That's right.
If you haven't played that, doggone it, get some headphones and get into that.
Yeah, you have to play that game with earbuds or headphones or some type of sound that goes straight into your ear.
Yep.
Shoot, now that I'm not on tour, thanks a lot. That would have been a great tour game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the bunk?
Well, Gabe, now that you're not on tour, April 12th, Nintendo Labo, some new VR kits with the Nintendo Labo.
We'll see how much those are.
Yes, $8,800 a piece.
Don't they want you to play Breath of the Wild holding it to your face or something?
Yeah, you can. Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey will support VR functionality with this new kit. Feng Shui. You'll be able to decorate.
Well, there goes that story. Click on that X there. Let me just say this while we're here then.
Yes.
I ain't doing it like that.
Yeah.
They crazy. If they think that I'm going to hold both Joy-Cons on the side of the Switch held up to my face, there's no way I'm doing that. There's no way. You will not catch me dead doing that.
Yeah.
Not unless, why didn't they just make it to where there's a little thing and a strap? When you look at the Labo kits that they are genius people. They could have figured this out to where it's held to your head. Maybe they feel like the Switch is too heavy to be held there by like a strap. Probably. But it takes away, like, if you just try to look left and right quickly with your hands to your head, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous to me it's why Reggie's quitting. It's probably why. Reggie's like, y'all ain't going to have me out here trying to sell this one.
Right. Reggie was probably like, how about a strap? Get out.
Exactly. Get Bowser in here.
That is not the vision of Nintendo of Japan. Please leave, sir. Bring in the Bowser.
Bring in Bowser. No strap.
Yeah, no strap for you.
Who cares if their arms are tired? They're kids. Buy more Nintendo.
That's right.
I know. I just don't understand why they don't have it with the strap. Take the Joy-Cons off. Have the Joy-Cons in your hand. Look around, because that's what you do in VR. Will you guys just do it for me? Just put your hands to your face. Now just envision looking around quickly. No, holding like handles. Yeah, that is not the move. And then you got to keep it. You got to keep it to your eyes as well.
Nah, man.
So it's got to be like not bumping off the bridge of your nose.
Unless I'm playing Submarine Look Around Guy VR, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Unless it's like boo coo coo. Boo coo coo coo.
Labo Periscope.
Exactly.
Yeah, Periscope Sailor.
That's what you should have done, Nintendo.
Labo.
And I know people are going to say, call me a hater. Well, you call me a hater, I'll call you a fanboy. That's how that goes.
No, I did see Jeff Swan replied and was like, how many times will you doubt Nintendo?
I was like, well, this look ridiculous.
How many times will Nintendo put out a VR thing that you have to hold up all the time with both hands?
The other ones.
Breath of the Wild is not a short game.
No.
I mean, it's different with these little experiences and whatnot. That's cool. But
yeah.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is long. Number one. Number two, the other ones make pseudo sense and have a handle that you hold at the bottom and then do something with your other hand. Not both hands to the side of your temples and trying to look around like that.
Yeah.
Nah, Doc.
It's all the joy of Breath of the Wild with all the burden of having to hold binoculars the whole time.
Heavy binoculars at that.
Right.
Hey, Zelda. Sorry, girl. You're going to have to stay over there with him.
That's right. That's all I got. There might be more, but I don't know.
Chris,
yes.
you want to remind us that we don't have MPD this week?
We do not have MPD this week, guys. Hoping that it'll come out next week. It's usually about the middle of the week, so maybe if we record middle to late week, we'll have it.
That's right. But it's Tuesday. It'll probably drop tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Knowing our luck.
It might. Billion.
We get all the Timisms in here real quick. I agree and disagree.
Oh God, no!
I'll just go with Gabe.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Ed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And back to you guys.
And Soccer Story.
I love it. Tim, we tease you because we love you. And you have to know that we can only make fun of you because we pay attention to what you say.
That's right. Exactly.
What if we were like, let's make fun of Tim? Oh, what does he say? Then your feelings should be hurt. But we know exactly what you say. And we love you for it. Chris?
Yes. All right. So, story number one. It would appear that an unnamed person with a significant amount of wealth is planning to set up a real-life 100-person battle royale on a private island.
Oh, yeah. It's called the Fire Festival.
That's what I
Exactly. That's what we were talking about earlier. We were like, oh, yeah, this is going to be on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah. Ja Rule's like, baby.
Right.
Like, go. Get out.
Yeah.
Get out, Ja.
So it's not actually, as you might imagine, it's not actually planning to kill anybody. The way that the guy's wanting it to work is he wants to use it with
It's not
airsoft
the actual
guns.
Hunger Games is what you're saying.
Yeah, he wants to have airsoft guns and he wants to have touch-sensitive body armor, and that's how you're going to do it. And the person who wins the game is going to get $100,000. So he's putting up legit money for it.
So here's the problem.
Yes.
Number one, have you ever been shot with an airsoft gun?
I've not been shot with airsoft. I have been shot with paintball.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is they're very similar.
Airsoft, I think, hurts a little bit more because it's smaller.
Really?
Especially those gas-powered ones. Like I had a Beretta that was gas-powered and it would blow back. You know, the top would blow back like every time you shot. Those things would hum.
Yeah.
And we used to have airsoft fights at one of my jobs. And they don't feel good. Number two, how do you know? How do you know people aren't lying? where do you have to get shot to die? If you get shot in the leg.
Well, that's the way that I'm understanding is that you have to be shot in that body armor that like registers a signal so that they can check it, and that it's going to be monitored so that they know you've been hit. Kind of like laser tag. Like you could shoot at the person, but if it doesn't hit right where that sensor is, it doesn't count. Kind of a similar thing where
Could I also throw a rock?
The touch sensitive armor's got to register a hit, and then you're considered down. And who knows? I mean, it doesn't go into detail in this article, but maybe they'll be like, oh, you can take so many shots before you're considered out. I don't know how they're going to do all that. But I mean, for $100,000, if you feel like that's something you're good at, I mean, I wouldn't be doing it, but I'd watch it.
I wonder how much it is to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's going to take place over 3 days, and the entire duration of the competition is going to be 12 hours.
Wow. 12 hours?
So each day. Excuse me.
That's 100-person battle is 12 hours?
No, it's going to be 3 days. Each day they'll play for 12 hours before they go like, okay, now we're cutting it off, and the people will go back to wherever they're going to spend the night, and then the next day you come back and start it up again.
And it's just the person that wins the most wins $100,000?
Whoever makes it to the end without dying, without being shot, or
So it could end on the first day, though.
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, it may get done, but I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to plan it in a way where it's enough land. I doubt that they're going to do where everybody, like Hunger Games, everybody came out of that thing and they were all right there. I'm sure they're going to do something where people are all at the very edge of the island, and then they're all going to go in, and they're hoping that people will play it a little more safe. That's what I'm assuming, but
there's no way that's going to happen.
Not for $100,000. Are they going to play it safe?
Well, but think about it this way. It's not a matter of if you feel like you're so good, but you can still you've got to play it very strategically, because if it's the one shot and you're out, it doesn't matter how good you are at getting the other people. If somebody hits you, you're out. Like, what if you can be shot in the back and it counts? So you got to watch your back. So you got to play this way more strategically if you're trying to win the money. That's how I would do it anyways. I wouldn't just be going out like, because the minute you lose, you get shot, you're out. If that's the way that the rules set up. Again, it doesn't go into all the specific rules.
They're going to sprinkle airsoft guns all over this island is kind of the thought.
I don't know that, like, it doesn't specify. Like, he just secured the island and getting the island. This person who's still anonymous.
Is it Pablo Escobar's island?
It does not say the name of the island.
Are they going to have random airdrops with old peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
It would be cool if it did, like Jell-O in a little styrofoam thing. And that's your meal. That'd be cool.
Oh man, I mean that sounds fine on. It actually doesn't even sound fine on paper. I want to say it sounds fine on paper, but like, the thought makes sense. 3 days, 12 hours a day doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's too close to the Fire Festival thing for me to be able to not just
even
smell disaster.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's like the reality. Will this actually even happen? Who knows? I doubt it will actually happen. But dude's trying to get the ball rolling and make it happen. So we'll see.
The thing is, I can see it being an amazing opportunity for marketing. Like if somebody they wouldn't do this, but if somebody like Fortnite got behind it and said, we are the official sponsor of this thing. I just don't know how you like go to bed and then like, do you go start out exactly where you were the day before, but everybody can't see where you're going? It might be the same thing that
each day is just a starting new, just with whoever's remaining, and then it starts again.
Yeah.
I would assume that's how they would do it, because you're not going to be able to leave, go to like your quarters, and then come back and be like, all right, where was that blue X? Okay, you're on the blue X. You're over here on the, behind the tree. Oh, wait, did I just give it away? You can't,
right.
You can't really
That's
do
my
all
question.
that.
Yes.
So, who knows?
Oh, well, I had a very, very sad day 2 days ago.
What happened?
I fell for an April Fool's joke.
Oh, no.
When it wasn't April 1st.
What?
Because it was what was 2 days ago? April 7th.
Yes.
So my guard was down. Nathan Dugas on our Discord tags me and says, at Video Games, have you seen this? Takes me to a video that's 6.5 minutes long. It's called 20-plus-year-old Aerith Revival Easter Egg Finally Found. Now, for those that have no idea what I'm talking about, Final Fantasy VII was a game that came out in 97. Okay. It's one of my favorite games of all time. That's well documented on this podcast. And spoiler alert for a 22-year-old game, a girl named Aerith dies in it. And at the time, the rumors were floating around that you could revive her, that you could bring her back. And this is pre-internet being everywhere, right? And so rumors could flow in the 90s. It was easier for rumors to get around. And it was bolstered by the fact that if you did a combination of things and then went back to the house you first met her at, there was a bug where she kind of flashed there for a second, then went away. And so these guys over at Odd Header, I don't know what channel that is, put together this 6.5 minute thing talking about how you could get her back. And it's very convincing up until probably the very end when they actually give her dialogue. And she's like, yo. And you're like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no way, doc, or whatever. You know, she's kind of talking in slang. And you're like, that's not how Aerith talked. But more than halfway through the video, I was like, no, no. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm sitting there in the dressing room. I've got my earbuds in. People are looking at me watching this video. I hear him snickering like, what is Gabe watching? And then it comes to an end and I scroll down and I'm like, oh, okay, 600,000 views. Yeah, that's about right. Published on April 1st, 2019. And everybody's like, what happened? And I was like, it takes too much explaining and you guys wouldn't care anyway. And Toby goes, because he thought it was something deeper than this. He was like, oh, come on, man. Don't, give us a little credit. And I was like, listen, it takes too many words for me to actually explain what's going on. Then I got to tell you what happened. And trust me, you're not going to care. And he's like, try me. I'm like, so this game 95 87, it came out in 97. I was in high school and I explained the whole thing and he's just kind of nodding and he just kind of nods as I get to the end. And I was like, see, I told you, you just wouldn't care. And so I usually never get got on April 1st. We all know what's coming on, especially if you follow video game news. You have your antennas just on 11 and you don't believe anything. Even if something actually happened, you wouldn't believe it.
Right.
But the fact that it got me 7 days later and my defenses were down and I'm tired and we had just done our last show of the tour. It's midnight. I'm eating ramen. Just caught me off guard, man. It got me. So good on you guys. It's not true. Aerith can't come back. We know she can't come back. But they made it so,
we'll find out.
Doggone it. They made no. They made it so convincing, man. They were like, yeah, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, okay. Oh, I mean, that's a stretch, but that makes sense. Yeah. No way. No way. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. That's how all my no ways went.
Man.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
I like the retelling, though. I felt like I was there, living it with you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Back to something that really happened.
Okay, so Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment will unveil their new Star Wars action-adventure game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, at Star Wars Celebration this coming Saturday, April 13th. The reveal will be live streamed on EA's Star Wars Twitch channel at 1:30 p.m. I believe it says CDT. What is that?
Somewhere not time? Around here. No, that's CST.
That's what I thought. So I
CDT?
I think Star Wars Celebration happens
Central Daylight Time. So Central Daylight Time is 5 hours.
Maybe Star Wars Celebration is happening somewhere in the Central Time Zone because it usually happens in California, and I think it's happening in
Chicago.
Florida. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. Awesome. So Central Time. That's amazing because that's how every time should be. Is right there on all Central Time. That's what I know. So EA and Respawn, they did put out an image teasing the Star Wars Fallen Jedi as just a piece of art. It's a circular pair of ruins, and it has a lightsaber that's in the middle of it, and it's damaged, and then it just says the name of the game, which is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Basically, the basic premise that they have discussed is that it is supposed to be a game that is centered around a Padawan, which is, a Jedi student that has survived the massacre known as Order 66 in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Order 66 is an order that the Emperor puts out whenever he has all the clone troopers go and destroy and wipe out basically all of the Jedi because they're deemed to be traitors to the Galactic Republic. So this is supposed to follow a story of somebody or maybe a couple of people who were able to survive that Order 66 event. So, I mean, EA, I'll say this. The first Battlefront of this generation was pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
did
bought
too.
Battlefront 2, played very little of it. I know it had all the controversy with the loot box stuff and all these things like that. And while that did bug me the
Right.
way that it had pay to win stuff in it, I really didn't play it enough, even just past that. I
And
dabbled.
can we both say that was a little unfair?
What's a little unfair?
It felt like they caught all the wrath of microtransactions.
Well,
Yes.
they did catch all the wrath of the microtransactions. However, they did legitimately have pay to win stuff in their game.
Right.
Now, it wasn't so egregious that it's like you can't win without paying money, but it
Right.
definitely was pay to win. So to me, that's the only times when I totally am like, hey, no,
Yes.
I'm not down with the whole loot stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is when it's you have to pay money and you get a distinct competitive advantage, which is what they had early on.
Yeah.
That's when I have the biggest beef with it. Not quite as much when it's just tied to cosmetics and a couple of other things.
Right.
But I also played, I would say, a quarter of the campaign, and it just didn't really grab me, and I didn't go
Yep.
back to it.
I keep
Same.
forgetting there was a campaign in that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a campaign in that one. And then, obviously, Amy Hennig's Star Wars game got canceled. So, and this is being done by Respawn, which, I'm all about Respawn. I really like them as a developer. I'm a little concerned that they're spreading themselves a bit too thin with all this stuff, but I'm hoping that this is kind of EA's back to form where they're making a really good Star Wars game. Because I would love a real single player focused Star Wars game following a cool story, which would be some Jedis that were able to survive the Order 66. That would be really cool. I think the whole premise of it is nice. If I'm able to swing it, I'm definitely gonna be watching the live stream. Whether I can or not, I will definitely be watching it later on after the fact on a video on demand. So I'm excited to see what it's all about and whatever information we can get out of it and what a release date is, because I don't think anybody knows for sure. I do think it's been said that it's a 2019 game, but I don't think outside of that, nobody really knows when it's supposed to happen. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
thought this was interesting that they were doing this. I'm glad they're doing it on, Star Wars. What are they doing? Star Wars Celebration Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't save it for the 4th of May.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes sense. It could make sense either way. I've always thought it was weird the Star Wars Celebration's not on May the 4th, but maybe they're maybe they're just like that would be a little too corny. So I don't
Two
know.
on the nose or
Who
something?
knows?
Yeah.
I guess. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, and Tim's not here to correct me on how to say this. Is it Geralt or Geralt from
Geralt.
The
think that's how you say it.
The Witcher? Geralt.
Geralt.
No, that can't be
No.
right.
That's
Geralt.
not right.
I don't think
I want
so.
to say Geralt.
I want to say Geralt too. Doggone it, Tim.
Oops.
He's finally coming officially to Monster Hunter World on May 9th on PC, which anybody that's watched any Monster Hunter, especially Monster Hunter World, I felt like was like, why is Geralt not in this game? Because he's a monster hunter. Like, that's his job description in The Witcher. Yes, he's
really?
a Witcher, but he's a monster hunter. That's what he does.
Same
He hunts-
company made the two games?
Capcom.
Okay.
Yes. I think Capcom did, well, CD Projekt, I don't know how it all works out.
Yeah.
But I think Capcom has something to do with both of them. Capcom
Okay.
definitely has something to do with Monster Hunter World.
Right.
I don't remember about The Witcher, but so Geralt is as himself in the new world with Geralt being performed by whoever did Geralt from The Witcher, which is awesome. You'll have his silver sword, which is awesome, and you'll hunt down Leshen, which was the antlered forest abomination from The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt.
Nice.
So I think this is super duper dope. And ever since I saw Monster Hunter, I was like, where's Geralt at? So May 9th.
That's also, isn't Monster Hunter also the one that had Aloy and stuff from
Oh, really?
yeah, they had a skin you could do Aloy, and you'd had in Monster Hunter World they have that little companion, I don't know what it's called, that kind of runs around with you like a little dog thing.
Huh.
But you could have a little version of it, a skin for it that'd be like a little watcher that would follow you around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know if it was a timed thing or if anybody who gets the game and if you're on the PlayStation side, you could just have access to it. I'm not sure if it's
Was
a
that an
paid
official
DLC for it.
thing or like somebody just
No,
made
it's an official thing. It was because I think it was only available on PlayStation because the game's multi-platform. But I think that specific crossover little thing was only part. I think it was Monster Hunter World.
and it wasn't just like a Yeah.
It was like a skin you could get.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if it was actually Aloy or just like her armor and bow or something.
Well, but it's not just the armor. Like your face and everything looks like Aloy, and you have the red hair and all that.
Oh.
Now, whether or not it's voiced that way, I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they use the actual actress' voice so that in your lines change, but you would look like Aloy running around.
Gotcha.
What
else you got, anyway. Chris McCracken?
So, old Prince Harry.
Oh man, this guy.
Homeboy doesn't like him some Fortnite.
He sounded like an old man already. His baby's not even here yet. He sounded like an old man.
I know, right? So he was speaking to the YMCA in West London.
Yep.
And he said that Epic Games Battle Royale titles should be banned.
Yeah.
It's created to addict, he says, an addiction to keep you in front of the computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. And then he went on to chastise social media and a couple other things they said was even worse than Fortnite, but he definitely wanted to let you know he doesn't like him some Fortnite, and if he has his princely way, it shall be banned.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
good thing that he has no actual power. And,
I know, exactly.
It doesn't matter at all.
It's just a title.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The thing that bugged me about it was, does that mean, because I don't know how it works in England. Is there like no gambling there? Is there no like anything that like all
Netflix.
Games are made to addict? Like they want you to be addicted to all of them. Like, is Candy Crush not there? Is Flappy Bird's not there? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why pick on Fortnite just because it's the hotness?
I don't know. I don't live in London, so I'm not sure quite how it works over there.
I'm going with the story that he's picking on it because he sucks at the game.
Ooh, yep.
Ooh.
Like
and
that.
he's like, this game should be banned. It's like, no, you just suck at it. Sorry, buddy.
Boom.
I hope that's the reason.
That is the reason. That's totally the reason. That's hilarious. I'm out. My other story was the VR thing and how ridiculous it is. But I'm glad that they're moving in that direction because, as we've said before, the Switch seems perfect for doing VR on.
Mm-hmm.
But why have to hold it to
Unless
your
you have
face?
to hold it the entire time.
Nintendo. Oh, man.
Look, they've got to keep their record of, we make cool stuff, but we also just got to make you scratch your head and think, a couple times a year. You know, we just got to do that. That's their MO.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's one of their things, man.
It is. Chris, do you have anything else?
The last thing that I had was, so we here on Married to the Games, at least a quarter of us or half of us are really into Overwatch League.
Yep.
And a lot of people in our community are really into the Overwatch League. And look, it's a brand. This is a second year of its iteration.
Yes.
The official Blizzard held on Overwatch League because there were Overwatch tournaments before this, like Apex and a bunch of other ones. And they're still contenders and stuff that Blizzard, I don't believe, leads, but although I do think they have some official sponsorship that way. But Overwatch League has had things a little bit rough in terms of kind of maintaining their players in a small sense. It's not like a runaway problem necessarily, but they have had a lot of issues with the stage 1 of season 2 just ended. And there's already 4 players that have said, you know what, man, this is too stressful. This is too mentally taxing. I'm just kind of having problems here. I'm going to retire.
Really?
Yeah. So DeFran, which played for Atlanta, this was the first year that he started. He only started season 2 or year 2. Stellar from Toronto Defiant, and then Effect, which is on the Dallas Fuel. He has played in particular. Been part of Overwatch, playing Overwatch professionally for a long time, but he's also been part of Overwatch League since its inception last year. And he was actually he's a really, really good player. He's not gotten a ton of playing time in season 2, or in year 2, I guess I should say. But he was a big pillar of the Dallas Fuel's team on season 1. And then Dallas Fuel's assistant coach, he was a player last year. His name was Coco. And this year he turned to an assistant coach. He's also said like, hey, this is just super stressful. And he's not just a coach, but he's a coach. So he's not playing right now. And even he's kind of feeling it. It just kind of worries me a little bit. And I don't know if this is prevalent because this is really the only esport that I really follow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is kind of like just par for the course. In esports, there's a lot of burnout really quickly and stuff, but it just worries me a little bit because, Overwatch is still really just in its infancy. It's really still figuring everything out. Next year, they're planning to have, I believe it's starting next year, they want to have away games like all the time, not just the few individual ones they're going to have this year. So it just kind of worries me.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So did you see that NCAA commercial that came out that kind of shows the kid waking up, going to school, going to practice, going to hang out with his friends, playing a game, then going to bed?
No.
Okay, so there's a commercial that does all that, and then it's like, NCAA. And people from that kind of played games, collegiate sports, were like, are you kidding? One workout a day, then had time to go dance with his friends in the middle of the thing, and then had time. They're like, the only thing that was right about this commercial was that he didn't eat. And so I wonder if it's just because these kids aren't used to the pressure of professional sports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The pressures that come with, all right, now you're part of a money-making machine. We need you to be on 10. Might be something they're just not used to. They've gotten good at this game at their leisure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to put in the work, so I'm going to do it. And I was going to pose the question to Ed. Ed, now that you're a daily Twitcher, do you feel any of that sometimes where you're like, man, sometimes this doesn't feel for fun anymore. Sometimes this feels like because I said I'd do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where I was this week when I didn't know what to play. And fortunately, Angry Birds VR and that horrible video game were there because I was like, I might just take the day off.
Yeah, that's right.
Because, and that's definitely something that a lot of Twitchers have commented on is I need to take a week off because I want to make sure I'm not burning myself out.
Yeah.
And also, especially with Overwatch League, not only is it that, but they have also so many things. You can't say this on your personal stream. You can't do this. And that's just a lot of all of a sudden rules everywhere.
Yep.
But
don't you feel like those rules, those don't seem too crazy unless I just don't know him. But I know that like a lot of them have to do with, you don't want to say something extremely negative that's derogatory. Like you can't say that kind of stuff anymore.
Right. And for a lot of them, a lot of them are streamers. And if they come from years of streaming and all of a sudden they have to, if they're not used to checking themselves because they can say whatever they want.
Right.
That might, just another little thing to put on the stack of things they have to think of and be aware of and work at.
Yep.
I don't know.
Right. It's interesting because to me, now this podcast started on a different level of thing, but like, to not be foul doesn't seem hard to me.
Right. Yes.
So it's like, don't be foul. Oh man, well I can't. You're like, you can't? Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting,
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I know everybody needs to have your time away. And for Overwatch's, or for, I guess I should say for Blizzard's credit, they are making it this season. They've really hunkered down. Like the teams aren't going to play like for instance, this week Dallas Fuel didn't play at all. Like there's teams that are not going to necessarily have to play every single week. They're trying to help regulate the scrimmage sessions and the trainings. Each individual team is also addressing different things, and they're making sure that they're giving like personal trainers for like gym related stuff. Not they don't have like their own personal cooks, but they have like nutritionists there to help with different things in that way. They also brought on sports psychologists. Most of the teams have brought on their own sports psychologists in case anybody needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So I feel like overall they're figuring it out and they're making good moves, but it's like, man, and I understand that a player, like especially if you're playing Overwatch all the time and not just when you're on stage, but then you're also practicing and you're scrimming against other teams and everything like that. You need a break. You need to have like a leisure game and everything like that. But it's like, man, streaming is so about like the personality and the persona and being on. It's just like, man, it almost feels like I'm not a fan of telling them they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like if I were in that situation and I were a professional Overwatch player with a guaranteed salary while I'm under contract, I don't know that I would stream because I'd be like, man, that's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, I know that a lot of them are concerned or think about, or especially if they came from streaming and then came into Overwatch, they think about, I still got to maintain that because I've got to keep my audience. I've got to keep it. And I understand all that, but it's just like, man, it almost feels like a bunch of them are even like Overwatch is already enough pressure. And then on top of that, they're burning the candle at both ends kind of thing. It's like maybe in your personal time, you should do whatever you can to get that set up right and to not wear yourself out there, because you know that your full-time job that you're under contract to getting paid for is requiring a lot of your time. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, because everybody's got to choose that for them, but it's definitely been, and it's not like it's only this year. There was people that had issues last year. Pine, which is a player for the New York Excelsior, he ended up missing a few games because he said it was basically due to stress and some panic disorders he was having. Seagull, who played on the Dallas Fuel, he retired at the end of season 1, even though he was like one of the fan favorites of the entire league. He was just like, man, I'm gonna bounce out, and went back to his streaming life where he said things were just not quite as stressful. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's a bummer, but at the same time, it's, I gotta hope that they'll get it all figured out, because I'm really hoping that Overwatch is one of the things anyways that kind of really propels on the US side anyways esports into more mainstream, and it seems like it's on that trajectory. But I mean, it's not going to work out if they can't keep their players from burning out so fast, Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what they're doing.
Their key, like most popular players.
Yeah. I wonder what they're doing, because on one hand, I'm like, yeah, man, you got to do you. And then on the other hand, I'm like, being a professional athlete is stressful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
you got to know that it's going to be stressful, or talk to somebody, or maybe they need to have a better entryway into it in the sense of where they can have people to talk to them on the onset, like, hey, just so you know, this is what we're expecting. You know what I'm saying? These jokers in college and everything doing 2-a-days, and I don't know how much they got to really keep up on their grades, but for some of those schools, you got to keep up on your grades and play the game and stay nutritionally balanced and stay in shape, and you know what I'm saying? There's a lot put on those guys.
Yeah.
And they're making zero money.
I feel what you're saying. I mean, it's a little hard to look at it completely that way, only because, I'm not a professional esports player or professional regular sports player. So I'm speaking from hearsay kind of standpoint, but I tend to agree with you. It's like, look, every sport does this. And whenever, I know last year there would be a handful of players, and then this year with like Dufresne and stuff, there was a lot of talk about like, don't say, like really crazy stuff on your stream or on Twitter or wherever. It's like, you've got you're part of a brand now. You've got to be upstanding and everything like that. And it's like, and they'd be like, oh, that's so hard. It's like, that's being a professional athlete. I mean, it's like, come on, that's just the way that it goes. If you can't keep your foot out your mouth, stop getting on camera and then speaking to the mic.
That's right. That's right.
Play your game. That's what you signed up for.
Yep.
But at the same time, and not that this isn't the case with like NCAA stars and even, NFL and NBA in the onset, but they're just like in esports, like you're old hat when you're like 25.
Yep.
So it's like their shelf life is even less than an actual sport. And it's just like, maybe they're just all too young to really have the understanding. I don't know.
And I think that's the thing too. I mean, they are so young. That's at least when you're a lot of professional sports, they're adults, so they can process things a little better. Not that young people can't, but they've got experience where they can say, this or that, and they kind of know how to approach a problem or whatever. When you take a teenager and say, hey, here's a bunch of rules, the first things that you might want to do is be like, I bet I could do this though.
Right.
And, it's, one of the things is you can't promote or encourage people to play a game that's a non-Blizzard game, so
that's a rule.
Yeah. At least last year's, I don't know, that may have changed this year, but you couldn't encourage someone to be like, oh yeah, this game was fun, pick it up. If
you can't be like, oh man, I love Hitman 2, y'all should check it out.
Yeah. You might be able to say, I love it, but you can't say, check it out.
Wow. Yeah.
And so just a lot of things like that where, that's when I was 16, 17, 18, if you all of a sudden say, here's a huge rule book, you can't do any of this stuff, I'm sure I would, without even knowing it, probably break one or two, and so that's just, with no experience, it's kind of like a lot of child actors, because they tend to stray because they don't know how to deal with all of a sudden that pressure and that from everywhere, and so it's good that they're bringing on all of these people to try to help out and try to help them adapt and cope with what they're feeling. But man, that is a lot compared to, you know, a 26-year-old guy that's playing a professional sport.
Yeah, It's true. It's crazy. That's crazy. Anything else, Chris?
No, sir. I am out.
Eduardo,
Yes, sir.
tell us something.
Well, over on the YouTube channel, we've got a few new videos up this week. If you want to watch Overcooked with Hollywood Bones, you can check that out.
Man.
Also, Angry Birds VR, Isle of Pigs. If you want to watch Angry Ed, maybe the last half hour or so where I'm just struggling nonstop.
Nice.
And then if you want to have a good laugh, The Shape-Shifting Detective is up there.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oof, I'm telling you, man, that's really bad. No new iTunes or reviews. iTunes reviews or comments. If you're looking for new games, Game Pass being a little cheeky, and they said, hey, how about we reveal 6 new games on April 10th? And of course, that's not today, so there are going to be some new games on Game Pass coming your way, so be sure and look for those.
There you go. Thanks, Eduardo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you, what was your favorite place to buy video games as a kid? Starting on Twitter. We got Mark 2. There's a huge flea market in DFW called Trader's Village. And when I was a kid, a retailer there sold games and consoles 10 to 20% cheaper than retailers, and tax was included. Bought nearly all my NES and SNES games there. I was heartbroken when that retailer closed.
Why is tax not included here in the price?
I don't know.
That's weird. That needs to be a thing.
Where the price that they tell you is already with the tax in there?
Yeah, it's not like $4.99, awesome, and you get up there and you have $4.99, and they're like, oh, but you've got 58 cents in tax. Like,
yeah,
just tell me that up front.
Because the marketing.
Yep.
Nathan Van Diggle at Jerk Alert. Most of my early video game buying memories are Toys R Us. Having to grab the paper ticket, take it to the register and pay. Then go to the cage/booth up front to pick up your actual game. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's nice. Josh Stapleton at MTTG Street Team. Wah, 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 wah. As a kid, my family loved going to the old county, maybe it's the Old County Buffet for dinner. Right next door was a place called Media Play. It was a massive store with books, CDs, and video games. I spent a whole summer mowing the lawn so I could go there and buy Mortal Kombat on the Genesis.
Ooh,
nice.
Very nice.
I like it. Over on Facebook, Mike Peacott.
Yes.
Or Pico, if he's feeling fancy.
Ooh, pass that Grey Poupon.
Babbage's. Usually in malls during the 80s and 90s. I think they became EB Games, then GameStop.
I forgot about Babbage's.
I know. What a terrible name.
Man, that's where I would get all my You Don't Know Jack games on the
Was
PC.
Babbage's?
Yeah.
Nice.
Brian
Niebel, Road Crew.
Whoop.
I grew up in a small town and mostly played video games with my childhood best friend. And whenever we wanted to play new games, we'd ride our bikes downtown a few blocks and would often rent the latest and greatest games from our small town movie rental store, Video Vision. There you go.
Video Vision, huh?
Philip Hamilton Brown. Oh man, I haven't heard this name in a long time. Service Merchandise.
Oh my gosh. I worked at Service Merchandise.
Did you really?
Way.
Yeah.
I forgot that was even a place. Oh gosh. Service Merchandise during the 80s and early 90s, but as I entered my teens in the mid 90s, it was Media Play. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Media Play. Wow.
Service Merchandise.
I never understood that store. I can't just take this to the counter and buy it?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
How does this work here? I need an adult. Lord Zukor over on Discordia. My local game store was called Game Crazy. It was in the same shopping complex as Goodwill, my parents' bank, and the UPS store. So I was able to walk over while my mom was running errands, spending hours at Goodwill. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Game crazy. Man, there was a lot of people said Media Play. I've never even heard of that place.
I haven't either.
There used to be a big one in Nashville, didn't there? Wasn't what was the name of it had books and video games and movies? Or am I thinking of something else?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you're thinking of this.
Okay.
Jared Orr, I remember buying games at a Sam Goody. It was a really cool store. Sam Goody was pretty much a cross between GameStop and Radio Shack. I bought a PSP there when that first came out.
I remember Sam Goody stores, but I always thought of them as music stores.
So did
I remember Sam Goody. I think Sam Goody turned into FYE maybe in our mall.
Oh, I think you're right. At ours it did too.
Arctic Warlocks, Kitty City was the place to go before Toys R Us became so big and took over. We had an NES already and did not think of getting any of the other systems at the time. I remember we would always look for a certain game to buy, but being one of the only toy stores in the area, the stock of that particular game was in high demand. The good old days. Having to wait for the game to be delivered and put your name in on the waiting list for when it comes in.
Wow.
I know that's right. I remember those days too, man, when you're calling like, did y'all get Snatcher? Yes, we got 2 copies. Will you put my name on one? Yes, we can hold it for 1 day. You're like, okay, click. Mom, can you take me down to Circuit City?
They're holding it.
They're holding it till tomorrow. I can't take you. Please take me. I'll die if you don't take me. Well, you know where to find us. Facebook.com/married to the games, Twitter.com/MTTGcast. Of course, marriedtothegames.com. We've got every freaking episode we've ever done on there, including the A's and B's when it comes to those centennial episodes.
Ooh, yeah.
You know that's right. Like Ed said, youtube.com/married to the games, on Patreon, patreon.com/MTTG. And we are going to attempt to get our lives together over the summer on this old Extra Life. extra-life.org/team/MTTG. Go ahead and sign up early so you can have that spot and so you can stress out with us trying to raise this $10,000 for these kids. That's right. Chris McCracken.
Yes. Rate us on iTunes. And Tim will get another ticket as he rushes back from his cruise.
Well, let's get into some questions.
Discord, Hollywood Bones. Billy Batson needs to yell Shazam to turn into a superhero. What would you want to say to turn yourself into a superhero?
Not flame on.
Hot now?
I say, there's got to be something. Booyah! Yeah, probably booyah.
Nice.
What say you, Chris?
Power mode.
Oh, Lord. What is this? 87? Power mode. I wish you would have to yell that.
Power mode. That's going to be so good when I get that power.
Power mode. Oh, my gosh.
But see, when I don't want the bad guys to hear it, because I'm just around the corner, I go, power mode.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Ed,
I can't follow that.
I know that's tough.
I don't know. Hey! Watch this.
Oh gosh, what? What? Hey. Turn
Watch this. Watch this.
Hey, watch this. And then all of a sudden you explode into your outfit. Oh my gosh. You'd be happening all the time when you're a kid. You try to get your mom's attention. Oh shoot.
Hey.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was the other hey, watch this.
Right.
I'm watering the Christmas tree. Look it.
Look at.
Oh.
Guess what? Guess what?
What would we guess Tim's is? That's awesome.
What did you say, Gabe?
Whatever the default is.
Power mode 2.
Default.
I like default.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lucas Ham
Power
Sandwich.
mode. I don't want him to hear me. I said, power mode. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Power mode.
Oh.
It's not about
Because you don't
volume.
want to give it away. Yeah, it's just about the wording.
Power mode. I want to see him say it when he's cornered and they're already looking at him and he's just like,
Yeah.
power mode.
Yeah. Oh shoot, that's funny.
Lucas Ham Sandwich. Happy National Unicorn Day. What mythical creature do you wish existed in real life or could be discovered?
Oh.
I mean,
Go ahead.
this might seem a little too obvious, but leprechauns. I want to get some gold, man.
That's
such a
true.
redhead.
Is it right to call them creatures?
Yeah.
Or they're just
Yeah.
really, really small people?
Yeah. Yeah, you're digging the hole deeper. I would say probably Nessie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish Nessie was real. I don't think I wish Bigfoot was real. I wish Nessie was real more than Bigfoot.
Why so?
Bigfoot seemed a little scary to me.
Yeah, see, I wish he was real because we'd have like
Yeah.
something scary.
Oh no, I don't want something scary. I just want something mystical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bigfoot's would be more believable that if you found it, you'd be like, oh my gosh, the stories were true. Whereas Nessie's like, man, just drain that lake. You find it. There's your answer.
I know, but I don't know. I like Nessie. Yeah. What about you, Chris? Did you already say? Oh, sorry. What about you, Ed?
I'm going to go Bigfoot.
I'm so not used to Ed reading these, so let's got my
know,
brain
right?
all twisted around. Sorry, what'd you say, Ed?
I'm going Bigfoot.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Or dragons.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like actual like birds, like monsters of the sky.
Yeah.
Like we have monsters and you know, we still don't know what all fish we have in the ocean.
But I mean, that'd be pretty dang scary.
Yeah,
You're saying you're scared of Bigfoot. A
Yeah.
dragon just flying around, just lighting things on
we
fire?
That'd be
could
scarier.
shoot that. We could shoot those things down, man.
We could bring them around so we could make them extinct real fast.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a problem.
Over on Facebook, Daniel High. With Shazam releasing an Endgame a few weeks away, do you feel superhero fatigue? I personally can do this all day. Word to Captain America.
Nice. That is a line he said. That's good. I can do this all day. No, because I never get to go to the movies. And so, and I liked it. And I mean, what would I rather have a lot of? There's only so much people can do in the movies. There's going to at least be a lot of dramas, a lot of comedies, a lot of rom-coms. Definitely don't want more of those. And so I feel like the superhero niche, at least it provides an opportunity for us to, I don't know, maybe really step outside of ourselves for a little bit. I don't know. I feel like it's the only like true escapism we have in movies right now. Like no movies are taking it that far, it feels like, anymore.
Yeah.
Than the superhero movies.
I was feeling that fatigue a few years ago, but now because I feel, especially, you know, with Endgame and all that going on, they're doing such a good job with them. I don't mind them as much now as I did a year or two ago.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm not at the point where I have any fatigue either because they're not I mean, they're all so different, yet they all, on the Marvel side specifically, like they all do thread together. It's fun to see like, where's it going to go? And I would think that I'd be bored of it right now, but I will say this, that once Endgame happens, if it's as awesome as I'm expecting it to be, I worry a bit that I'll feel like that does feel bookended.
Yeah.
And now there's just these other ones, and like, I mean, I don't want to necessarily get into spoiler with possible theories of what Endgame's going to mean, but if it goes a direction I'm feeling like it may go, it's almost going to be like, well, it feels like it needs to be done now.
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to. This is only phase 1, and phase 2 is going to roll out. But at the same time, Marvel's done such a good job. I mean, there's only been a few of them that are just kind of like, that I'm sure they'll find a way to entice me. And I'm kind of the same way. Like, the only movies that I really get interested in going to are these, the superhero stuff, or Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I just haven't had, and there's been plenty of other like dramatic movies and more things that, would be more down like the Oscars way of looking at things that I've had interest in, but I'm like, I'll see it when I see it kind of thing. There's not been any that been like, I've got to go see that. I just kind of want the dumb entertainment for a little while. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I think I would be feeling fatigue if they did like Human Torch, X-Men, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, and they didn't mold together.
Yeah.
It felt like, I think that's what Ed was probably feeling a couple years ago when there was like all these separate island ones,
right,
that didn't have anything to do with each other.
Yep.
Then I'd be like, okay, guys, like you're just trying to cash in on a thing. But Disney has done so good at like narrowing it in and honing in on a thing and then pulling it off, and then DC's like, we can keep up. Oh God, okay, and then we put out Shazam. Okay, finally got in the 90s on the Rotten Tomato thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And this could be a little bit of something that I might be eating my words later on down the way, but I'm even though I've enjoyed a lot of the different versions of Batman, it's kind of started to burn me out a bit that we're just constantly rebooting the thing over and over.
Yeah, I have not enjoyed that.
Now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, I'm expecting there to be some type of, in some way, reboot of X-Men because now they can come into the MCU. But it's like, I want that to be the end. I don't want more like X-Men starting over or any of this kind of stuff. But at some point, like Robert Downey Jr. can't play Iron Man forever. So they're either going to have to not have an Iron Man, or they have a new version of Iron Man like they do in the comics. Like there's, been Lady Iron Man, and then this other person carries the mantle of this and whatever. It's like, I want, in a way, that kind of would be a reboot, even though
Black
it's
Panther's
canonical.
little sister. Telling you, Black Panther's little sister is going to be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she wore the suit in some comic for at least for a while if she wasn't donning the mantle of Black Panther. I mean, yeah, it's got to go. They've got to find a way to continue it on. If they were constantly, everyone was like, oh, this is the 5th Iron Man, but it's like the 5th Iron Man, like 5th different person that's played Iron Man. And it's a total reboot. If they were rebooting all the time, I feel like I'd have fatigue. But because they all interweave so well,
that's what I'm saying.
They're just really good. And even on the to over the DC side, their strategy is one that it's just kind of their strategy they're doing now is new, and I don't know yet whether or not I'm going to like it. But they're not having a unified universe where it's all interconnected. They're just going to have multiple different universes, but the same kind of characters. So that's why we're getting this Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, but yet we still potentially are going to have that Joker with Jared Leto, or at the very least, we have the one that he already acted in. We have, they're just kind of like, oh, we can make multiples of them because they're all a different version of a universe. They're not necessarily connected.
Right.
That might work out really well and be interesting and lead to totally cool different Jokers, or that might be, oh my gosh, again, another Joker.
That's what it's going to be.
I mean, that's where I want to say it's going to go, but I'm trying to be hopeful and see. So who knows?
Yeah.
That's good. Travis Pospisil, what happens when you buy something expensive without discussing it with the wife first? I kinda sorta bought a sports car.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Maybe get her a diamond. Oh, please let that work.
Take her to another Toby Mac concert.
But that diamond better be sitting
to work that magic.
Yeah, exactly. That diamond better be sitting in the cup holder of the sports car.
When I say when I think something expensive, without telling Sarah about it, I definitely don't go sports car expensive.
No
Yeah, that's not what I
way.
think.
I bought this Overwatch thing for $30.
That's me. That's me too. Baby, I went half with Toby on a microphone,
Right.
but like we're both going to use it though.
Right.
Yeah, I don't buy anything expensive without telling Jenny unless it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I bought her, like one of the first presents I ever got her was like a Coach purse.
Right.
And, we weren't married at the time, but it was, it was more I've ever spent on something that small.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous now.
Yeah. And I think it's also, if you say, I bought a sports car, should I get her a diamond? It definitely depends on your wife, because if I got Sarah a diamond, she would be like, why did you get me a diamond?
Yeah, exactly.
I would rather have a diamond's worth of sports bras.
Yeah, exactly. You got a sports car, give me a sports bra.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, Chris?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't tend to buy anything expensive without discussing it with Stacy first. Again, unless it's a surprise. I bought for Stacy's birthday, a part of her birthday, I bought her some new diamond earrings, which the ones that she's had, probably 15 or more years. So this was like, the first new pair she'd had in forever, but I didn't want to tell her about it, clearly. Yeah. But it was not a cheap purchase. It would cost me a pretty penny. But outside of that, I can't think of anything that I've ever bought of any real significant amount of money that she was not well aware of, or at least 50%, if not more, the decision-making party. Right. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Over on Twitter, Matt Galeza at CCMG12. What's a song that you like that's totally outside your wheelhouse? Paparazzi by Exhibit popped into my head the other day, and I used to love that song, though I'm a pop punk guy.
Oh, outside my wheelhouse?
What exactly does that mean, outside my wheelhouse?
Like not the normal music you would listen to, but it's like, man, I really love that folk song, XYZ, even though I don't listen to folk.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, because I like folk music.
There is a country song that for some reason by Clay Walker.
Really?
Called White Palace. And
yeah.
Some friends of mine way back in the mid 90s listened to this album all the time. And so I got to hear it. And this one song always stuck with me. And I definitely not a country person, but that song,
yes,
I don't know. I'll always sing along with that one.
Ed, can I tell you a quick Clay Walker story?
Yeah.
So we're doing the Pebble Beach Pro-Am with Toby Mac, and we're performing. They get all the performers together on volunteer night, and we perform for the volunteers.
Right.
And Clay Walker's there. I've never heard of him before.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Hi, Clay Walker," and I was like, "Hi, Gabriel Patillo," and he's like, "Not like Leon Patillo," and I was like,
"What?"
I was like, "Yeah, that's my dad." He's like, "What? That's your dad? I used to listen to your dad's albums all the time. Please tell him he's got a huge fan in Clay Walker."
That's hilarious.
I was like, that's weird.
That's really
I don't
weird.
know who you are, and that's weird that you know who my dad is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Chris, you could think of one?
Not in particular. I mean, the majority of the music that I listen to is rock music or folk music, which are diametrically opposed in some ways. And then I listen to a lot of EDM. EDM's really good for just if you're doing things and don't need to really pay attention.
Yeah.
So I can listen to a lot of different things, but I've always really liked, not that this is going to be super shocking or anything, but I've always really liked Hadaway, What Is Love?
Oh, that's awesome.
If that comes on, I am going to tap my toe to that song. Or if I'm in the car, unless somebody mentions it, I'm not changing it. I'm just letting it play out. Be like, what? You ain't changing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would probably say, yeah, I'm a one-hit wonder guy, and so I can find myself falling in love with those songs. And so one song for me that's like that is I don't even know what it's called. And I would walk 500 miles, and I would.
Yeah, the Proclaimers.
That's a terrible, like, annoying song, but for some reason when it comes on, it makes me happy.
Oh, that's a great song.
I like that
I love
song.
that song.
Yeah, that or I Hope You Dance by somebody Womack.
Yeah.
I forget who it is. I think she's a country singer too, though.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's a great. I think just country just period, the writing is so good in it that like as a writer I can like it, but I just cannot stand the sound of it.
Yeah.
Like the twang, and I do not like it. But some of the writing, and I Hope You Dance, I think was really well written.
That's one of the things this week that happened that made me really happy is that we found out that our dog doesn't like country music.
Oh no.
I was like, Alexa, play. Oh, she's gonna darn it. I see that blue ring on.
Yeah.
I was like, play sleepy music, and just started playing a variety of music. And Willie Nelson's "You Were Always on My Mind" came on.
Oh yeah.
And the dog was
Batman doesn't like Willie.
Was Alexa, stop. The dog was not a fan, and I was like, that's hilarious. Let me try this. And so the next day I was like, play music. Played music, and I was like, play Willie Nelson, You Were Always on My Mind. And as soon, maybe she's like,
really?
I was like, that's our dog.
That is funny. I love that.
Yes.
Oh, that's a little sad though.
No.
Andrew Hadley at Abrasive Cactus.
Oh yeah. They are abrasive.
They are abrasive. The podcast has run for 343 episodes so far. That's 6.59 years of Married to the Games.
Woo!
Shoosh. What do you think the obstacle is to have achieved during this time? And what are some positive memories from so many weeks together?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I feel like the biggest obstacle's got to be consistency.
Yeah.
Never missing an episode.
Yeah. Coordination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't been a big obstacle, but I mean, considering that's, for me at least, it's probably been the biggest one, and it's really not that big.
Yeah, it's funny because I talk to a lot of people that come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh man, how do you guys do it? I tried to do one and we just couldn't, blah, 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 blah. And what it made me realize was that we care a lot. And I think that that's not so much an obstacle, but if you don't care a lot, then it's easy for obstacles to get in the way.
Yes.
If you care a lot, then the obstacles start to fall away a little bit. As far as memories together, and we've talked about it time and time again, and I'm going to say it every single time, but E3 to me, barring episode 100, 200, and 300, getting together with like the whole family. Yeah. Obviously that's amazing. But as far as just like the four of us, something that we got to accomplish together, E3 was just like hands down, like high school. If I would have told high school me that me and like some of my best buddies were going to LA to go to E3 together, I'd be tripping, especially since high school me knew Ed. So, hey, you and Ed are gonna be at E3 one day together. I'd be like, he doesn't even play video games. What happened? Please tell me what happens. Don't tell me what happens. I want to just feel it out. Yeah. Chris?
I mean, you can't go wrong with that answer, honestly. I mean, I feel like for me, that's got to be the best one. I've thought of so many different times where it's like, okay, E3's, in limbo or changing, and who knows, people are leaving it or people are not leaving it, whatever. It's like, okay, what's a thing we can do that's like that again? And you can never, it's really hard to capture lightning in a bottle twice, but it's like, I have trouble even thinking of a thing to suggest that could come close to that.
To rival that.
I feel like we're the type of guys that we could think of something and we could have a great time and it would be memorable and we would greatly enjoy ourselves. But it would always be, but doggone it, that E3.
Yeah. And then with Stancil coming out and Gilbert coming out, I mean, it was like, oh, it was so perfect. And that's all I remember there was a time that Ed ordered coffee.
Yes.
And the coffee showed up, and I can't tell you in that moment how happy I was. Like Chris had just gotten there. And Ed had ordered coffee. That's the first time. I didn't even know you could order coffee. Like that was a new thing to me. Like for coffee to show up at the house, I was like, I am so happy right now. Like, I couldn't even stand it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I go back. I took a little video of us standing in in the living room on day 2. And I'm like, day 2, E3, everybody standing behind me. We're kind of standing like a triangle almost, or a diamond. And I'm like, blah, blah, we're going to do this. This is my last day. And then Ed and Stancil are like, we're going back tomorrow. I was like, they're going back tomorrow. We're not, blah, blah, blah. It's only like a minute video. But like, I go back and watch it like probably every 2 months just to be like, oh right? Man, what a freaking good time that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Edward?
Yeah, I think, I mean, E3 is definitely a big one. And it's funny too, because all of my best memories from E3, none of them are at E3.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
At the house, it's hanging out with the community at that hotel. Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
And seeing all the people.
It's seeing
all
the
industry
people.
just randomly.
Yeah.
There's Cerny. What's up?
Right. Yeah. Getting breakfast with Lane.
Lane Compton. Yes,
Lane
that
Compton.
was awesome.
That was so much fun. But I think just for me, some of the best memories of us just being together are before and after the show.
Yes.
And just, most of the weeks it's like, okay, we're done. We got to go. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Because it's in the morning.
But,
and we're
every
getting
once in a
school.
while we'll hit a conversation before or after that just makes me laugh. And that's just cool because, it's, you get to talk with your best friends on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends that I consider really good friends, and I don't talk to them that often, and so to be able to talk to every week, talk to your friends, that's pretty cool.
I think too, Ed, I'm so glad you said that, because I think too, it makes this real. Yeah. Toby always says that the stage is only as good as backstage. If backstage is amazing, then you feel it on stage. When people are like, oh man, you guys look like you have so much fun together. You guys are laughing up there, blah, 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 blah. The interaction between you guys, you can tell when a band each has their own bus and don't see each other till they get to the stage.
Yeah.
And then, but when backstage is sweet, on stage is sweet. And I feel like the version of our backstage is sweet. And so that's what makes our on stage sweet.
Yeah. I just love that. Like, our Google Hangout chat isn't only active on the days we record, Are you ready? Like it's all week long. It's full, That's right. And I love that.
I do too. That's a good observation, Edward.
Yeah.
I like that way you phrased it. If the backstage is good, on stage is good. That's a good way to put it.
That's really good. Last question here. Jeff the Android at Remake Yourself. What game has made you clench your butt cheeks the hardest?
I don't know in what way that means.
I really I think of Telltale's The Walking Dead and just kind of like, oh my god,
yeah, I'm gonna have to chop his leg off.
Yeah, so many of those moments. Either that or the Rush of Blood VR. That's that was a butt clencher.
Yes. Chris, what say you?
So originally I was thinking I would go something in Until Dawn. Because I don't really play horror games, and that was, horror-ish. And it definitely has some horror, very straight up horror moments in it. But honestly, the more I think about it, I was like, there's been a lot of times when I was playing Search and Destroy and Call of Duty, and even more recently, Apex, and I'm like really trying hard, and I'm really holding on to get that win. And then when you get it, you just feel that, every muscle relaxes. Yeah.
So that's so true.
That's awesome.
Speaking of that, Chris and Ed, have you ever told somebody to be quiet while you were playing because you were in one of those tense moments?
Oh, yeah.
We're like, shh, 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 not yet.
I have muted the party because I'm focusing, because they're just over like, so anyways, and I told her, I was like mute. No, it ain't about all that. We're trying to get things done.
Try to get this W, Bishops.
Can you be in a party mode with someone that isn't playing the same game?
I can, but I don't prefer it.
Yeah, I experienced that recently for the first time, and I'm like, I don't like this very much.
Yeah, so I'll just be straight up confession time. What up, community? Want you to know, I'm just being real. There's been times where if I'm playing, like, let's say Overwatch, and we're just like, we're just taking it casual. We're not like doing call outs and trying to really win the game. We're just whatever. Then yeah, I don't care. But if I'm playing anything that requires coordination, first thing I do is go into the party and like mute people who are not playing with me, because I can't do it. I can't take that. I'm one of those kind of people. And my friend, I had one of my best friends in high school, got so annoyed at me all the time with this, because more often than not, I would be the driver. I was that kind of person where when we're coming up to a place and we hadn't been there before, and you have to remember, this is before smartphones. So, you're just trying to figure it out, or you looked at a map beforehand, or you have a map right then. I was the kind of person, like, when you're coming up to the house, I'm turning down the radio because I'm trying to focus on where I'm going.
Yep.
My friend would lose. He's like, why are you doing that? Just keep looking and I'm going to listen to this song. I can't take the distraction. I got to focus on what's at hand. And if I got somebody over here like yammering about whatever that doesn't apply to what I'm dealing with, I got to mute you. At least for a little bit, and then I'll bring you back on when it's not so intense.
I am so that way. I've definitely told Amara to be quiet. Hold on a second, Boots. Hold on a second. And, I'm trying to dial it in. Yep. I'm the same way, Chris. I've turned down the music. Hold on a second. I don't know where I'm at. Let me turn down the music.
That's so,
why does that help? It does.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't have this music on. I got to look harder.
I know, right?
Exactly. I'm using my eyes.
I'm like, like straight in my eyes. What's that address on that house?
Yeah. I think my buttocks cheek clench games. Okay, so I have one Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
From a guy who doesn't play scary games, who is a scaredy cat. I don't like those kind of games. Playing those, you guys have seen it on the YouTube channel. We jump, we're scared, and I'm the stereotypical black guy. When I get scared, I'm, and I'm pushing people. I'm elbowing people in the ribs. And then also, though, when I, for some reason, it didn't happen with Assassin's Creed and stuff, and maybe because it's third person, but when I jump from something really high, like in Apex where there's no fall damage, I definitely get that like kind of feeling when I'm first jumping off it. I don't know why. I know I'm not gonna get hurt, and I know I'm not actually jumping.
So when I was, because I'm, like I said before, that I've been rewatching a lot of the Marvel movies. The other night I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming, and when in that scene where he's climbing up the Washington Monument, I think is what it is.
Yep.
And he gets up to the top and he's like, oh my gosh, this is really high and everything like that. I almost can't. I have to look away. I can't really.
No
watch.
way.
Like if I see really high stuff like that, like I start getting that nervous feeling the same way that like if I jump in Apex or any of those other ones, I'll get the same thing. Yeah.
Wow.
I won't necessarily be able to just stare at it the whole time because I feel just as nervous as the character seems to be.
That is really interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Good questions, you guys. Thank you for sending those in.
Good questions. Yeah. So it's that time again.
Oh.
And so I'm asking this question again. I asked it probably 5.5 years ago or whatever it was.
Oh,
okay.
And I'm asking it again now.
So it's that time is only 5.5 every 5.5 years.
Yeah, about that. And you'll know it right after I ask it.
Okay.
What do you want out of next gen consoles?
Gotcha.
We asked this before the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, which I don't remember actually how long ago that was. And I'm asking it again now. What do you want out of next gen? We are probably going to get a lot of announcements this summer. What are some of the highlights? And I don't mean like backwards compatible. Like we know a lot of that stuff is coming, but what are you really hoping is like that? Oh yeah, they did that. Or you're hoping they do something, along those lines. Christopher?
I want every single game to play in 60 frames per second or higher. Every single one. I don't want a single game that plays at 30 frames per second. Not one.
There you go. What about you, Edward?
Xbox, I need you to give the same love to Twitch. I know Mixer is your baby, but Twitch could use a little more
love,
tweakability in its use.
Is it not an easy thing, or is it not doable at all?
It's like you can, like with the PlayStation, at least you can choose which corner. It gives you corners you can choose to put your camera.
Do that?
You can't do that on the Xbox. There are a lot of things just
I didn't
that
know
kind
that.
of stuff that the Xbox you cannot do. And I would just like a little bit more of that, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say one. It's not gonna happen, but I'm just gonna say one. I actually mentioned it last week. I want to go back to cartridges for the games.
Oh man.
But I want there to be multiple slots for the cartridges. Like, so I could have like 4 different games in there at once instead of just like having to pop out one at a time. They're cartridges.
Yeah.
They're SD cards, for goodness sakes. We should be able to have more than one of those readers in the thing.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying.
No, it's not.
I mean, considering how big like some of the game downloads are, PlayStation,
Yes.
if you could make it so I didn't have to immediately start with an external hard drive. Because I mean, the Xbox, I've got so many games on the hard drive, so many games, and they're huge. And PlayStation,
Does it have a 1 terabyte hard drive? What does it have in it?
Whatever the S came with. But
Is your PlayStation just a PS4? Like
yes, just a PS4. Yeah, it holds 2 games.
Yeah, it's probably a 500 gig hard drive.
Yeah,
which
Mine's 500 on PS4.
I think even the Slims that you get, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I want to say that all the ones on the market right now are 1 terabyte. But I bet there's a 500 gig one you can get somewhere. But yeah, in the beginning of the generation, especially when you start seeing how big those games were, it's like, oh, there ain't no way this is gonna work.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think a 100 gig hard drive was huge, and now when it's like, the Division comes out and is about that size, it's like, oh God, a little bit more, please, next time around.
Right.
But
exactly.
I will say this: I don't know what it entails and how you have to do it on the Slim one. But you don't have a Slim, correct?
Correct.
Okay. On the original Gen one, and even before the Pro, because I haven't looked into it on the Pro either, it's really ridiculously easy to swap out the internal hard drive.
Oh, right.
And you could put up to as long as it's a 2.5 inch drive, you could put like a 4 terabyte one in there easy. And it's also not that hard to transfer your data to an external, then sync it right back.
Right.
So if you're ever interested in that, let me know and I'll shoot you some information. Of course, I know you now that you have the external, so maybe that's not necessarily a need for you anymore.
Right.
If
Chris,
they do the hard drives again, I hope that they both. I guess that's an addendum I'll add on. I want them both to be more internal swappable stuff.
Yeah.
That I can do.
And I'll take, if you want to give me too many USB ports, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I know that's right.
The PlayStation with 2 USB ports is not. I could use at least just one more.
Yeah. Maybe one on the back even.
Yeah, because, with the hard drive, and then if you want to play VR, and if your headset goes into the USB, well, something's got to go.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. Like I like all my cords coming out one way. So if I only have my external and then the HDMI and the power, let's kind of have them all come out the back.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys want out of the next gen consoles. We will talk about it next week. Episode 343.
Yes.
In the books. Router, we shall see you next time, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games. And we are up out this thing.
Power mode.
Peace.
Softer, but
no, that was great. I like that your whisper voice is broken. Power mode. Sorry, I meant to whisper it.